Everyone done with the first or the second one? How about everyone who's finished with the first, raise your hand, please. So we can just keep track. Good. Finish with the first one. And you totaled it up. And then the second one is, and I reference it here on the page, is from page 33 of the Outsmarting the Dementia Epidemic book. It's a little short.
Question.
Yes.
There's a few questions here at the top on the right.
Those belong to the first one.
Yeah.
The first one is quite long. I did it 2 columns and it just happened to swap over. I want to make it large enough so people can see it in case they have the blurred vision also. Okay, do we have everyone having this? Again, these are just a taste of some of the surveys and the sections in the surveys that I have related to the brain and to overall health, based on factors that are key elements in being healthy in general and taking care of your brain. Just like Pat had mentioned, John had the B12 deficiency. There are a lot of genes in our chromosomal patterns, and certain genes can have modifications that are called polymorphisms, meaning a variety of shapes that they can have. So certain genes may have 1 or 2 slightly oddly shaped, unusually shaped elements that then, when those are used as the blueprint to create the proteins that our cells use, then they create not quite the right shape all the time. And so we can have a deficiency in the ability to actually convert certain chemicals into B12, which we need to help detoxify our body in order to keep our brain healthy, in order to get rid of pesticides and other things that the liver does to break down things. And so B12 is a key component also in the production of various neurotransmitters, as well as cleaning toxins out of the body. So there are some genetic tests that can see whether or not somebody has these polymorphisms of B12, and then it just means that you have to take more of a particular kind of B12 that jumps over the step that is deficient. Anyway, that's there are other aspects of these surveys that I have that are more in-depth. Today we're just doing a little taste here. So in the first section, this first survey, here it says if your total is blank or more, I suggest that you get the evaluation more in depth. So that number in there is 6. Okay, 6. Now, I did not invent these surveys. Really brilliant people I've studied with have invented these. And so they come up with these evaluations. But I found them to be accurate. Now, in the second one, did anyone have 6 or fewer? Raise your hand. 6 or fewer? All right, very good. In the first section. Okay, in the second one, if your total, the one down here at the bottom of this page here, if your total is 8 or more, then you need to get a check out. Okay. I mentioned brain health. That's sort of the program, and I did that acronym because it's easy to remember, easy for me to remember. And so brain is a mnemonic that I use in my TV appearances also, because you get like 3 to 5 minutes to talk about how that's not much time. So I shortened it down so I can also remember the key points. So B stands for blood circulation. We have to have good blood circulation and oxygen getting to our brain in order for it to work right. So that's a key component. R is remove toxins. We live in an environment that has a lot of toxins in it. There are 100,000 new chemicals in the environment that never existed, say, from 1910 back. 100,000 new. Human beings are so inventive. Aren't we inventive? We're creative. We're fantastic from childhood, and then maybe we forget it. In adulthood, Pat's really into helping people be more creative. And so there are things like this. This is not the real brain. This is made out of silicon, so this is an artificially created substance. It's nice. You know, I can pull it apart, look at the inside of the brain, and study it. Anyone here have a cell phone? Who has a cell phone? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, do you think this is made out of wood? Does this grow on a tree? No, I don't think so. Doesn't grow on a tree. You can't. This is not organic. It's made out of a variety of things. So there's all these new chemicals that human beings are clever enough to come up with to create these things. You know, I touch it all day. It's my ear. I use these things. I think it's wonderful, but it is made of these new chemicals, and very, very few have ever been investigated for their health effects. So we're exposed to those, and our liver. This is a fake liver, not a real liver. The liver looks sort of like this, and this is the way that we clean out all the toxins in our body. The liver has to change things. It's sort of like it's sort of like washing dishes. It has various substances that are like detergent to clean the oil off of things so it can be washed away more easily. If the liver doesn't have all the nutrients it needs, then it can't do that, and those toxins accumulate in the body. So R is removing toxins inside the body, but also avoiding putting new toxins in your body. So filtering your water is very important, and also eating as organically as you can afford, because pesticides and other things, residues, are neurotoxic, which means killing brain cells. A, avoid sugar. Pat mentioned something about when she noticed that she had too much sugar, then her thinking and all got worse, right? And so avoiding sugar is a key component. The more sugar you have in your body, the more you can get what's called crusty brain syndrome, where the brain actually gets crusty and it creates an inflammatory response. I spent $1.50 to pay for the San Francisco Chronicle today because, headline, sugar's huge role in health of youth. It's in the news. So it's very clear. Cutting intake, not calories, found to bring major results. A, in the brain formula. I is inflammation. Newsweek and other magazines, maybe 5, 6, 8 years ago, had on the front page, diabetes is inflammation. Everything is inflammatory. A lot of disease processes are inflammatory. So cutting down on inflammation is really important in our body to keep it healthy. When we have an inflammation in our knee or somewhere else, it will kick up the whole system, and it can actually affect the brain because the brain is sensitive to inflammatory processes. So inflammation is a key thing to take into account if you're evaluating a person's whole health. And N stands for nutrition. I also say it stands for names, because when you first meet someone, it's really a good idea to try to remember their name. Right? Many people say, oh, I can't remember names, but we all have to work at it. It's just like posture. After you get there, you're a little tired, you focus on something. Your posture goes down, you have to constantly go, okay, remember to sit up straight, keep the spine working right. So anyway, that's the brain formula, remembering names and having good nutrition. So if we have a chance, I'd like everyone to stand up, and I want to do a little exercise that is related to blood circulation. Okay? So we're going to stand, and you're going to need a little space because your arms are going to move. You may have to restrict your movement a little bit. So you stand with your feet at shoulder width apart, and the inside of the feet about parallel. Okay? And then what we're going to do, you can watch with your eyes open, but then we're going to close your eyes, and we'll do this maybe a minute or two. And so this is called Ritsu Zen, which in Japanese means standing Zen meditation. So I studied Tai Chi. I started when I was 18, when I first went into college, like 3 months after my dad died. And that got me started in understanding natural medicine more. And when I was in Japan, I studied Tai Chi, and this was one of the exercises that the teachers there taught us. So it's called Ritsu Zen. That's why it's in Japanese, because in Japan I learned it. So essentially what you watch, we're just going to rotate like this. Back and forth very gently. And so what I like to do, there's a whole kind of like process to really get your body in touch. But so right now I want you to just focus your attention on your feet. Just put all your attention down there. I want you to feel your feet. Feel how they connect to the ground. Maybe you're wearing shoes, you can feel the sole of the shoe. Maybe you can feel all the way down into the tiles. Maybe the tiles are cool, I don't know. So now, after you've done that with both feet, I want you to just focus on the right foot. Just feel the right foot as you continue doing this. Okay, focus on the right foot. How's the right foot feel? How much weight are you putting on it? When you shift one direction, is there more weight going to that one than the other one? Now I want you to focus on your left foot. Feel the left foot. How does the left foot feel? Is it as comfortable as the right one? Is it a little achy? Okay, now I want you to focus on your right knee. Now it's bending as you twist. It should be straightening slightly and bending. We want to have nice soft knees so that they don't ever totally straighten up in this process. Okay, now focus on your left knee. And you're twisting one way, the knee probably moves forward and then it moves backwards. Is it over your left foot? Is it off to one side? Is it on the inside? How do your knees feel? Okay, now I want you to focus on your feet and your knees. Just try to feel those, your connection with the ground. And you should allow your arms just to hang and relax, sort of like a pendulum, like a clock. It's just going tick, clock, tick, clock, back and forth. And your hands should be relaxed so that they're just going to slap against your body as you make that turn. With the palm in the front facing the body and the palm facing backwards on the back. Okay? So this can go on a little longer if you want. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But we're going to slowly just come a bit more back to the center. Slowly start not turning so far until your hands are just kind of hanging from your side. And you're facing forward. There might be a little bit of motion going on. You can still feel it in